Hello happy souls, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. My beautiful friends, I'm so happy for you to join me here. Welcome to all my new subscribers, and big love and a shout out to those of you that have been with me a long while. It's always a pleasure to share this space with you, and I'm so grateful for all of your support, for your presence, for your likes, for your lovely comments, and of course for subscribing and for your donations as well. And you really spoil me by sending me lots of decks. I just appreciate you so much, so thank you for being here. And today I've got a reading for you. What does Spirit really need you to know? And I've called this is a sign you've been looking for, because this is information we're bringing through today that you really need to know. It's perhaps something you're not acknowledging about your love life, about your connection, about yourself, and about your path forward. So hopefully we're going to bring through lots of messages and answers and valuable information for you. I've got 3 paths for you to choose from. The first one is beautiful. It's called the Star Seeker Tarot, and this is with celestite, beautiful heart-shaped celestite. This is the Luminous Tarot with amethyst, and this is the Mermaid Tarot, Dame Darcy's Mermaid Tarot, with a piece of Larimar. So take your time choosing a pile. There isn't a right or wrong way to choose. Just see which one you're drawn to. If you're drawn to more than one pile, perhaps it's the case that there's messages in more than one pile for you. So feel free to go ahead and watch more than one. There's no right or wrong. And before we begin, I'd just like you to hold in your mind that you're asking the universe for signs. And the reason we ask for signs is because it's so affirming. It just reassures us that the magic is real and that we're on the right track. It helps us to anchor our faith. So I'm going to move piles 2 and 3 out of the way, and we're going to get started. Okay, pile 1, you've chosen the Star Seeker Tarot with this beautiful piece of celestite. And as I said, just take a moment whilst I'm shuffling to really tune in and ask Spirit for signs that are going to help you trust and have faith in the messages that come forward. This could be an animal, an object, a name, a place, anything that resonates for you. We're going to pull some charms today as well. I'm not doing extended readings yet, just because it's a bit of a drain on my upload abilities, but I hope to be back for them later this week with some extended readings. In the meantime, I'm trying to make these a little bit longer for you. So let's get cracking. Now, whilst I'm shuffling, just a reminder that I am opening my diary here and there for appointments. If you do check my website and find there's no availability, please do sign up to my mailing list on my website, because you will receive an email update every time I open some more slots. I'm doing a few private readings here and there, and it is so lovely to meet you guys face to face that way. So I'm going to continue with that for now. And I will be announcing new classes next week as well. And I know you guys, the rush to join my classes is insane every time. So if you wanted to take my classes, please make sure you're on the mailing list, and you'll be one of the first to know. The Mediumship for Beginners class, connecting with your spirit guides, which is a really powerful and beautiful class. That's always the first one to sell out. It sells out within a matter of hours. So, if you want to take part in that, make sure you're on my mailing list. And I will be advertising new dates for the Surrender class as well. Okay, part 1. What does Spirit need you to know about your love life, about your relationship, about your connection? Let's see what's coming through for you. Okay, so first up, we have the 5 of Pentacles, the 8 of Swords in reverse, the Fool, and the 8 of Wands. We have the Moon, we have the Empress in reverse, we have the Hermit in reverse, and we have the 2 of Pentacles. I'm going to get some Oracle cards for you as well. So today we're using the Moonology Oracle. You can find a list of all the decks I use in the description box below. And this is a time for healing. Emotions are running high. The answers you need are coming. And show the world the real you. And from the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine Reunited deck, we have Balance, Goddess of Sensuality, Freya. We have Openness, and we have shadow aspect. And I'm also going to pull out some of these message cards from Spirit. These are just blank cards that I've written on myself. Let's get some of these for you. We're going to pull some charms as well. Right, we've got your thoughts determine your feelings and energy. Master your thoughts. Apply humility, tact and diplomacy. Be aware of your own behaviours. Are you willing to accept this person as they are? Evolve or repeat. You want your person to be intimate and vulnerable, but they can only meet you as far as you have met yourself. Whew, okay, big energies for you, Par 1. Now, the first thing that's coming across for me is that you have been probably really struggling with the recent energies. There's a lot of fear and in particular just very triggering energy that's bringing up a lot of old wounds connected to rejection and abandonment in childhood. And these are surfacing and presenting in all of your present relationships, perhaps not just with your person, but also in your familial environment with friends or colleagues. You're just finding yourself very, very triggered. What's really beautiful about this is that I do feel you are transcending these energies. You're approaching them differently this time. This is certainly a time for healing with this balsamic moon. And straight off the bat, we have a real mixture of energies here, and I just feel there are so many different people involved in your life right now. We've got Pisces energy, a lot of water energy, lots of earth energy, which is Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. We've got Virgo here represented with the Hermit. So, you know, I just feel like there's lots of different energies being brought to the surface, and so it may feel somewhat chaotic. Now, what's really positive about this again is that, as I said, you're responding differently. You're beginning to release the anxiety, the stress, the suffering that would have previously surfaced when these triggers came into effect. You're reacting differently. You're open to a new way of being, and there's a great deal more awareness. Now, it does feel like you're in this in-between place. And when I refer to this in-between place, it's a really difficult place to be because transforming is really uncomfortable, and this is kind of this energy of having learned something new. There's a sense of knowing there, but you're still integrating that knowing so that it can become your being. And so there is some heavy distorted feminine energy here, but that's just because of how the energies are presenting for you. You've been wobbled out of alignment. As a result of all of this triggering energy, you are for sure finding yourself responding in a less anxious way, and certainly in a less, what's the word? A less fractious way. You're just seeing things more clearly. As I said, there's an openness now, and there's a greater level of balance in your responses and your reactions. Now, this is a new beginning for you, but what you're being called to do is really to step into your own power. And there's a requirement here for radical honesty and radical self-reflection. I feel like you have avoided yourself and your own wounds for a long time, but things are about to shift for you quite dramatically. It feels like in recent weeks you have really stepped into your spiritual journey. We see here with this Fool energy, and again, if you're looking for signs, I'll go through what's come up for you, but there's a tremendous amount of sunshines here, and also these stepping stones. It just feels like you're taking these steps forward now, and you can see she's not quite balanced. She's only got one arm up, but she's finding her way and she's boldly stepping forward. But what's required is for you to step into yourself. There's been a focus on the people outside of you, not just your person, but as I said, family, colleagues and friends. And there is this energy of kind of blaming or looking to them to be accountable for how you're feeling. And there's a need to recognize that you can be empowered to take responsibility for how you feel. And this is much safer than giving that power away and making yourself vulnerable to the behaviors and actions of others. This is a need to really start recognizing that you don't have to react and respond, and that actually there's a need to detach from the behaviors of others and to recognize that it isn't personal. You know, how others are behaving, including your person, is everything to do with how they're feeling about life. It's a projection of themselves. And all of your interactions with them are being filtered through their own lens, their own lens of suffering, trauma and pain. And so their perception of you isn't real right now. And you're being called to recognize that if someone, including your person, has been very harsh in their communication or has said mean things, that this is nothing to do with you. It's not really how they feel and think about you. It's actually a truer reflection of how they feel and think about themselves. Now, as far as signs go here, it's really interesting that apart from, where is it? No, there's actually no animals popped up for you here. We've got moons. We have a significant number of trees and sunshines. We've got flowers and crystals. There's a cage here as well. 2 cages, in fact. Windows. There is an indication that for some of you this is a same-sex connection. And we've got this very twinny symbol here with Gemini. So lots of moon energy, lots of very kind of astrology type energies coming through here. I think the moons stand out above all else, but these trees, this being grounded, and these mountains that are presenting and the stepping stones. We're going to get some oracle cards as well, so there's more opportunities for signs there for you. But this is a time for healing. This emotion's high, running high energy with this supermoon card here is really representative of where the collective is at as a whole right now. The energies are rough, okay? We're all being dragged through the ringer so that we can really start to release the shadow aspects that are going to support our transformation. And you are being asked to transform. This is very much a case of evolve or repeat. If you keep choosing the same things, you're going to keep getting the same response. And I feel like you know this about your situation already. It feels like you're beginning to recognize that there's a need to do things differently, but I'm feeling you're not sure what kind of different you actually need to do. So the guidance for you is to step into authenticity. It says here, show the world the real you. The answers you need are coming. And for me, this is very much connected to your person. Something's going to be revealed to you soon that's going to help you receive a lot of clarity and make sense of the forward journey. These are very... Okay, big deep breath there, because that came through really heavy. These are really challenging energies that you're facing. And as I said, you're facing them with more grace than before. But with this card, your thoughts determine your feelings and energy, master your thoughts. There's a real need to make this change first, to recognize that thought plus belief equals creation. And if you're spending time telling yourself, this is never going to happen, and you're believing that, nothing's going to work out for me, I'm not good enough, and you're holding faith and belief in these statements, then you're literally manifesting more of those energies. You are a master manifester. You're a very creative person. I feel like you understand what the law of attraction means, and you need to revisit your study surrounding that, because you are manifesting exactly what you don't want. You are releasing some of these thoughts that interfere, but they still act as an obstacle to you getting what you want. There's also apply humility, tact and diplomacy. Be aware of your own behaviours. Now, this is connected to how you communicate. And I feel like your person has triggered you very much, but you need to take responsibility for what those triggers are trying to teach you, rather than lashing out at them and trying to blame them for how you feel. You're being asked to be aware of your own behaviours. And this specifically refers to humility, which is demonstrating self-awareness and, being humble in your approach to this, not being, not shaming, and tact and diplomacy, to recognize how your communication can sometimes be quite inflammatory and it isn't supporting the forward momentum of your journey. Are you willing to accept this person as they are? Now, you're being called to embody the energy of unconditional love. That's what this journey is about for you. And, unconditional love is such a difficult thing to understand. It's a very fine line because, of course, in real terms, we have to have certain conditions around life. That's to say, you can love someone unconditionally, but they can't shit in your house, okay? They can't attack you physically or verbally. Those things aren't healthy for you. They're not indicative of a healthy relationship. And your first responsibility as far as unconditional love is concerned is for yourself. So this is coming through because there is some confusion for you around what unconditional love means. You are allowed to assert your safety, health, well-being and happiness first. You have to hold unconditional love for yourself first. And remember, they can only meet you as far as you met yourself. The more you love yourself, the more you're able to show the world the real you and step into authenticity and be open and receptive to love, the more you're inviting that energy into your life. But you have to be able to arrive there first, and you have to be able to love yourself first. If you love yourself, you're going to find it easier to love this person. And what's really interesting about this is I feel you found it really easy to love this person until recently. All of a sudden, there's a lot more anger coming up. There's a lot more frustration coming up. And this is just because of these shadow aspects that are rising to the surface and triggering you. And so all of a sudden, you don't feel as accepting of this person because they're demonstrating behaviors that are bringing up really painful energies for you. But you're being asked to detach and recognize that they're just prodding a wound that was already there. And that's their job. Their job is to draw your awareness to your wounding. That's what triggering means, to trigger that wound so that you can become aware of it and heal it. And as I said, I see this this inclination towards that, but there's still a refusal to really kind of go inwards and look at your own pain and look at your own wounding and to be accountable for the feelings that are presenting. So you're being asked to be a bit more understanding of this person's divinely guided behaviors. It may not seem that way. Remember, spirit gives us not what we need and not what we want. And right now you need these wounds being brought into the light. And this person is a mirror for you. They are projecting at you what you need to see about yourself. And so if these behaviors have triggered you really harshly, you need to dig really deep and look at where those wounds already existed, where they came from, so that you can begin to reconcile that energy and transmute it and transcend it. There's a lot of very sexual energy pent up here as well. And I'm hearing that you may feel uncomfortable about pursuing a sexual relationship with your person. Perhaps this makes you feel vulnerable, or perhaps they're not available. To be frank, it's not clear if there's a third party involved here, but for sure there's an element of self-restraint on your part of not wanting to move this relationship into the realms of being a physical, intimate one. You are being asked to trust and to recognize that, you know, sexual energy is the most potent form of energy for manifesting. The reason climax is so satisfying and beautiful is because we connect with source in that moment. You know, your kundalini is rising all the way up to source, to the creator, and you're receiving that beautiful hit of divine energy, which is why it feels so special. And whatever your circumstances, you're being encouraged to really embrace that and to allow yourself to willingly surrender to it, to allow yourself to be receptive to those energies. Now, this person, they do want to open up to you as well. There is a drive here for them to be authentic, for them to be real, and for them to also step into authenticity. But the spirit is reminding that you have to lead by example. When you open up and demonstrate vulnerability, what you're saying to them is it's safe for them to do the same. And so, you know, you've been very focused on criticizing them, explaining to them how they've hurt you, why they've hurt you, without this awareness of, you know, the fact that really that hurt already resided within you. And you've been very reluctant to open up about your true feelings, which are much deeper and more meaningful than the hurt and anger that is presently at the surface of this connection. You're being asked to trust as well. Your fear of rejection runs so deep that you are kind of seeing what isn't there. You're seeing in your person tendencies to be abusive. You may perceive it as gaslighting, invalidating, minimizing behaviors. But in truth, you're just very sensitive to any kind of conversation, communications that holds even a fraction of that context, because you've suffered so greatly at the hands of those energies in your past. And so because you've got that hypersensitivity to such behaviors, you are just slightly overreacting. Not in all cases. I'm not, this isn't about blame or about saying your person is, completely innocent or justified in their behaviors. But there is a need to recognize that they are doing a job. They're meant to trigger you. They're meant to behave this way so that you can learn to respond to these behaviors in a different way. And I feel like your person is going to be able to respond and adapt and evolve through that if you're able to find a way to communicate. Now, what's really interesting about all of these cards that have come up for you is that they are very individual energies. That's to say that we don't see any couples here apart from this one in the openness card, where they have our backs to us, but they're both facing the light with hands held. Now, this is a journey and a healing path that you need to undertake independently of them, but there is a need to collaborate on the issues that have arisen recently, and that's to say that you do need to communicate openly, calmly, with humility, tact and diplomacy with this person about the things that are bothering you. And that doesn't mean telling them how much they've hurt you. It means expressing to them how their communication has triggered you. So rather than saying, you've done this, you've done that, you've hurt me like this, which is, very inflammatory, that's they're going to receive that as an attack. What you can say instead is, when you communicated like this is how I felt, and I'm understanding that I felt this way before, and that perhaps that's why I was very sensitive to that type of communication, and I'd like us to discuss this so that we can work our way around it, so that we can find a resolution and a way forward. It's about mutual understanding and self-discovery as much as a discovery of one another. As I said, these are rapid fire changes coming in. You've got the Ace of Wands, which is swift, fast moving energy, and the Two of Pentacles, which represents change. So for sure, things are really gathering pace for you. And I know that these energies feel chaotic and they feel hard, but you're being asked to just try and elevate yourself above them enough to see somewhat more clearly. And remember, these answers are coming when you take the time to go within, to remove that blindfold and see yourself as you truly are, which is just a wounded person. That's it. These are just your wounds. And also I'm hearing that you mustn't be so hard on yourself. There's this energy of really regretting your actions, your communication, wishing you'd done it differently. And Spirit's asking you to acknowledge that there was no right or wrong way, that everything has happened exactly the way it's meant to, and that you're in the right place. So I just want to get some more cards. I feel like I need to pull some cards for your person. What do they need to say to you right now? What is Spirit? We're going to tap into their higher self. So these are the messages that, Spirit needs you to acknowledge about their feelings, their stance and position in this connection also. I can't see my own bullshit. Everything we say to one another is filtered through the lens of our own pain. Did I not say that? This is exactly what I said. You're triggering one another because it's being received through this lens of pain that already existed within each of you. I don't know how to just be friends, and I am sad at the way things turned out. I wish it was different. So this person doesn't have these layers of self-awareness that you do. And I'm asking you to remember that they, assuming you are the divine feminine, are in masculine energy. And masculine energy is so very different. It's not as emotionally receptive. It's not intuitively receptive. Masculine energy is all focused on opinions, rights, wrongs, logic, and the material world. And so this person doesn't recognize the emotional depths of the wounds that are being triggered and presented here for healing. And they don't necessarily see their part in that. So you're being asked to be a little bit more understanding of the fact that they're not intentionally trying to hurt you. They're not intentionally demonstrating abusive or angry behaviors. They just don't see the impact of their behavior. They can't see it. They genuinely can't. I feel like you must have pushed them away because you couldn't cope with the idea that they can't give you what you need and want right now. And so, you may have said, we just have to be friends. We have to cool this down. And this person doesn't know how to be friends. As I said, there's a strong sexual energy running through this connection, and you're being asked to surrender to it, to accept this connection, how it presents. You only feel used after you've had intimate relationships with them because, you had some expectation of what was supposed to come after that. You had some expectation of how that was supposed to be rather than just allowing yourself to enjoy the energy of this moment. Now, I want to remind you at this stage that this is a general reading, so it's not all going to apply exactly to your circumstances. If you've pulled away sexually from this person because it's felt really harmful and hurtful, then you have to trust your own discernment on this. But the spirit is asking you to work with sexual energy, and that's something you can do independently of them with the 5D energy that exists, you know, in the astral realms. Just thinking about sexual energy and sharing that with them astrally can still be very powerful. So, you know, don't take this literally if you've pulled back for a really strong reason because it just didn't feel good to you and it was, you know, it was too much for you. You've got to trust yourself on this. But for most of you, you're being asked to just allow love to be expressed in the way that you both feel safe doing that. And I'm hearing that for your counterpart, they're very comfortable expressing themselves physically to you. They want to love you in this way. They want to be intimate with you in this way. And that energy can really support your healing if you're comfortable with it doing so. It does say that this person's sad the way things turned out. I wish it was different. And I feel such an energy of powerlessness connected to this message. You know, they really didn't know how to do things differently. They didn't know how to make this connection work in the way you both wanted it to. I just want to pull a card for here for what the obstacles there. What was it that was stopping this moving forward? The thinker. So that's the energy you're beginning to release, but they're still stuck in. You know, we are not the thinker. We are a spirit in a human body. And this, I can't see my own bullshit, is entirely connected to this propensity they have for really going round and round in circles in their own head, trying to work it out from a very logical and pragmatic perspective. They're not connecting to the emotional nature of the interactions you're having, and they're not seeing clearly how things really are. There's a lot of intrusive thoughts and anxiety with this person. As I said, they're only a few steps behind you. What you're releasing, they're still struggling with. So there's a need to recognize that also. So what's the final guidance? I'm going to pull some charms and some more cards for you. So let's have a look. Okay. We have got keep going, keep growing, save yourself, I'm a stupid baby. We've got a rainbow. So again, that's indicative of that same sex connection for some of you. We have an acorn. And we have the clock. I'm going to get some more cards as well. So it says go the distance. Serendipity. Unfinished symphony. Never-ending story. Okay. And as this has come through, I just feel like you're going, no, I just want to let this go now. I'm so tired. It's never going to work. I've tried my hardest. It's this feeling of being defeated and a feeling of hopelessness. And Spirit's just reminding you that this is going to be okay. This is an unfinished symphony. You know, there's more work to be done here. This relationship isn't just meant to be a romantic happy ever after. That will come later. But right now, you're both being asked to heal and learn and step into your power. And you can't keep denying that. If you keep denying that, you're just keeping yourself and the progress of this connection stuck. One of the analogies I've used before, it's like, you know, if you were going to take a flight to Australia, and if you're in Australia, I'm going to say the other side of the equator, okay? It's a really long flight. You know, we're talking maybe a day's worth of travelling by plane with multiple stopovers. It's a long, exhausting journey. Now, when you're on that journey, you don't arrive at your first stop and throw your toys out the pram and say, this is taking too long, I can't bear it, I'm not doing it anymore. You know what's at the end, and you know you need to get there, and so you keep going. And this is what you're being asked to do. Go the distance. This is an unfinished symphony, and you and this person have a soul history together. There is a lifetime, many lifetimes of learning ahead of you even, and you know, this is what you're meant to do to each other to trigger one another's growth. There's a lot of beautiful, fortunate, divine energy on your side right now supporting this forward momentum. You're being asked to stay on track. Every time you stop and say, I can't do this, it's not going to work, I don't want to do it, you're essentially missing your flight and you're delaying it and you're adding way more time than is necessary to the whole equation. So you just need to keep going. And this is like this one. This is beautiful. Keep going, keep growing. Okay, there is growth right now in your heart space. This is a very powerful time for both of you. Save yourself. This is where your focus needs to be on. And you may be very focused on saving this person from their own demons, their own inner shadow. And you have to recognize that you can't, that your focus needs to be on your own wound, your own inner child trauma, represented here by this red color connecting to your root chakra, which is where we store our trauma. I'm a stupid baby. You know, stop being so hard on yourself. You are way more evolved than you give yourself credit for. And this feeling that you're stupid, that you've done things wrong, this is something born of an inner child wound that you keep allowing to roll around in your head. Every time you tell yourself this, you affirm that belief and root it a bit more deeply in your psyche. And remember what we were saying here. Your thoughts determine your feelings and your energy. If you keep saying, I'm stupid, you're going to feel stupid. Yeah, you've got to say, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm getting through this. And the more you repeat those affirmations to self, the more you're creating new beliefs that are going to help you feel better and create a higher vibration energy for you. Rainbows are a symbol of hope for me. Okay, they're asking you to trust, to be optimistic, to believe in balance, to believe there is a pot of gold at the end of this journey. And I feel like this is a big sign for you. Now, we've got a cheetah here. We've got the four-leaf clover, and we've got an egg and a fairy, as well as this rainbow. So, you know, these are all signs that you needed to see today. Hopefully your sign has shown up. We've also got the acorn. And again, the acorn is about growth. And I'm really guided to remind you that, you know, when we plant a seed, if you planted this little acorn or oak seed, you wouldn't be digging it up every day to see how it was growing. You know, you trust, okay, when I plant this seed and I leave it in the ground and I keep nurturing it and watering it and looking after it, it's going to grow healthy and strong. If you kept digging it up and disturbing the root system, it's not going to grow as it's meant to. In fact, it may stop growing at all. And so there's a real need here to recognize that, you know, you've got to let this growth keep going, and you've got to stop trying to disturb it by this desperate need to know where you're at. Just focus on where you're going. Time is not running out for you. You know, the clock here is at number 1 and number 7. Number 1 is a new beginning, and number 7 is divine energy. It's the number of divinity, and it's a very lucky, auspicious number. Remember that luck is on your side. Serendipity is all about that unexpected good fortune. Massive change and shifts are coming your way. Just trust that you're going to get through this rough period and that things are going to be okay for you, Part 1. I really hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for tuning into my video today. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for hitting the like button and for subscribing, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Hello, Part 2. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Luminous Tarot with Amethyst. And before I begin, I just want you to ask the universe for some signs. This could be an animal, an object, a time, a space, a place, a name, a series of numbers or words, anything at all. The purpose of asking for a sign is so that you can get really solid confirmation that you can trust this message and it was meant for you. It just helps to anchor your faith and to prove to you the magic is real. Okay, now let's do this. So we're asking today, what does Spirit need you to know the most about your current love situation, about your connection? What are you not acknowledging? What do you really need to see so that you can move forward in a much healthier way? All right, giving them a good shuffle. Let's do this, Part 2. Okay, what have we got here for you? We've got the Ace of Wands in reverse. We've got the King of Wands in reverse. We've got the 9 of Wands. We've got the 10 of Cups. We've got the 2 of Wands, the Death card, 3 of Pentacles in reverse, and the Hierophant. I'm going to get some Oracle cards here for you as well. We're going to get the Moon cards first of all, Moonology deck. If you're interested in what decks I'm using, you can find them listed in the description below. Okay, so we've got confidence is the key to success. We've got adjustments are required. We've got what do you need to release? And 2 came out here, hold your vision and expect powerful change. So I'm going to keep both of those. From the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine Reunited deck, we have got Goddess of Strength, Mary Magdalene. I'm hearing you pray to her. You pray to Mother Mary. We've got God of Protection, Anubis. We've got Rebirth. And we have got Achilles, God of Vulnerability. Okay. And I'm going to get some of these cards as well. These are blanks, which I've written on myself with messages from Spirit. We've got, you have to start taking care of yourself in mind, body and spirit. Release bitterness, anger, resentment and envy. Embrace forgiveness. Boundaries, not barriers. Meditation, meditation, meditation. And you are not entitled to anyone's love, time or attention. Okay, part 2. I just want to talk about the symbols that have come through for you, the signs. We've got a lion, we've got a jackal, we've got Mary Magdalene, Achilles, Rebirth, which is an angelic. We've got obviously lots of moons. We've got keys here. We've got a bumblebee, we've got eyes, a skull, and there's also a baby here and what looks like a bubble or crystal ball. I will be pulling some more oracle cards and charms as well, so there's lots more opportunities for your signs to come through if they haven't already. But I feel very strongly that some of you asked for Mother Mary, or Mary Magdalene. You asked for a Christian sign. Okay, what does Spirit need you to know? You need to make decisions. This is about decisions. It's about choosing and sticking with what you choose. What I'm feeling is this very topsy-turvy energy. 1 minute you're facing one direction and the next minute you're turning and you're running away from what you thought you wanted. I do feel like there has been a lot of interference in your energy recently, and that's to say that you are very vulnerable to the lower vibrational energies that are presenting in or around you in people, places or spaces or even circumstances. There's a need here to really focus on prayer and strength and to summon divine protection. You can find a grounding and protection video on my channel, and there's also a video in the Twin Flame Healing playlist about how to meditate. This is coming up very strongly for you. There's a real need to recognize and harness your own power. These are the adjustments that are required, and I'm hearing if you can hold that vision, if you can be diligent and consistent in your forward energy, you are going to see really, really powerful change. You're also being asked to step into confidence. Confidence is your key to success. And I'm hearing that you are a very prideful person. You know, you're quite good at being diligent and focused and stubborn in terms of getting what you want. But at the moment, those energies are misguided. Now, I'm hearing that there's been a long separation with your person, and the longer that has gone on, the more these feelings of bitterness, anger and resentment have surfaced, and envy as well. Now, it's not clear if there's a third party here, but I'm just getting this image of you watching this person on social media and feeling overwhelmed by jealousy or envy. You need to just step away and recognize that the experience they are having is connected to their path and the lessons they need to learn. They're not trying to make you jealous. They're not trying to spite you or hurt you. And you need to let go of these feelings. We've got what you need to release. And here it tells you directly: bitterness, anger, resentment, envy. Embrace forgiveness. You need to recognize that this person was never intending to hurt you. I don't know why you've stepped away from them, but it feels like here there's this indication of boundaries having been put in place that were perhaps, you know, not really the kind of supportive boundaries that you needed. They were in fact barriers. You may have blocked this person. You may have completely shut them down. Indeed, there's this energy here of endurance and of persevering independently. And it's clarified here by this Three of Pentacles in reverse, which suggests you've not been open to collaborating. And there is a need for you to collaborate with this person. There's a need for you to recognize that all of your healing and everything you've learned remains unchallenged and untested. This came up for me yesterday, and it's a bit like learning to drive from a book. You can learn all the theory, even the detailed workings of the vehicle and how to actually function and drive it. But until you actually get behind the wheel, you're not really going to put that learning into practice and find out, you know, how you're doing. And you also are going to need that practice. And so you're being asked to return to this person, or to leave the door open for them to return to you, to allow yourself to be vulnerable. But as I said, with this Achilles heel coming up here, I do feel that there is a weakness in your overall energy right now that you need to restore. And as I said, this is going to come through meditation, through grounding and protection, and choosing what you want. Because when you fall back into these lower vibrational energies, you're giving away your power and you're making yourself vulnerable. I do feel that you've just stepped out of alignment because you are so angry. But this came up in pile 1. It's a slightly different energy, but there are similarities. So if this resonates, you might want to check out that pile as well. And we do have rebirth here, which is very much connected to the death energy, because of course an ending yields a new beginning. Now with the death card, and just to reiterate, there's a lot of Scorpio and Taurus energy here for you guys. Leo energy as well. Obviously you've got, what else do we have here? Aries, Leo and Sagittarius here also. So a tremendous amount of fire and water energy in this reading, and you're being asked to recognize that this rebirth, this resurrection is on its way. You just need to release enough of this lower vibrational energy to allow yourself to rise out of the ashes and to have this clarity. And again, I'm really drawn to how this, you know, this death card actually depicts that rebirth. It's holding a baby, and all of these eyes are representation of the clarity that's being brought forward through that process. But now is a time to collaborate with your person. We've got the 10 of Cups here. You know, the universe is conspiring to bring you together, and you've created these barriers which are inhibiting things from moving forward. The Hierophant and the keys here demonstrates that this is the key to your transformation. 5 is a transformative energy, but it's also in the Hierophant about higher learning, about moving to the next stage of our journey, which is unity. These are union energies that are beckoning you forward. And right now you're keeping yourself stuck because you're sitting in this bitterness, anger, resentment and envy. You've got to start taking care of yourself. And as I said, these lower vibrational energies that you allow yourself to sit in and to be around, there are low vibrational circumstances and people in your circle as well that you need to be aware of. It's not to say you can't be around them, although sometimes we do have to take responsibility and remove ourselves, but you at least have to learn to protect yourself from those energies. This is a really important message. You are not entitled to anyone's love, time or attention, and you've got to remember that. Everyone, and I mean everyone, you included, has the right to say no and to make themselves a priority and to choose not to engage in communication, activities, behaviours that don't feel comfortable or good for them. Your person wasn't able to show up for you in the way that you felt entitled to. You know, this is the energy of I want what I think I deserve. Now, there is a gap between what you deserve and what this person decides they are prepared to offer you. And at this stage, or the stage at which you pushed them away because they weren't meeting your needs or giving you what you think you deserved, it wasn't because they didn't think you deserved that. It's just that they weren't able to give it to you. But this sense of entitlement of, well, if I can't have it, I don't want you. If I can't have it, you're a bad person because I really deserve this, and you know, you're a bad person for not giving it to me. You have to recognize that they had to choose them first. They had to choose to be in an energy that was comfortable for them, and what you were asking for wasn't comfortable for them. It wasn't something they were capable of giving you at that time. It doesn't mean they don't care. It just means that they can't yet meet you on the bridge. And so there's a real need to recognize that you're being called to meet your own needs, to take care of yourself, and to recognize that if you could just adjust these barriers and focus on healthier boundaries rather than barriers, to leave this door open. These union energies are inviting you forward. You know, this really is a time for you guys to transform and move things forward, but it's you that is creating the obstacle, not them, because you're saying it's not enough, and Spirit is saying allow it to be enough. You need to collaborate with this person because you're at the final hurdle. You're ready to move to the next level, but you're delaying your own ascension by being so stubborn and demanding something that this person simply isn't ready to give. Now, you may think you cannot exist without it, but in truth, in pushing them away, you're choosing to exist without it. You're saying, I want all or nothing, and you really are cutting off your nose to spite your face. So let's see what they want to say to you. What does your person's higher self need you to know about this? What does their spirit need you to know that you're not acknowledging? Right, we've got, I want to make up for all the time I was meant to be holding you. I have big feelings for you, but I'm not sure how you feel about me. I want you to, and I'm thinking about how to make a move, and everything is going to be okay. Whatever happens, I will always love you. So these are really beautiful messages that are coming forward. Actually, I feel guided to get one more. Your limiting beliefs about self are keeping you stuck in this cycle. Okay, so this person has really heartfelt intentions. You know, all of these messages communicate that they want to be there, they want to show up, they care about you, they love you, they have feelings for you, but they don't know how you feel about them. So far, they're only understanding anger, resentment, and bitterness, and they do want to make this up to you. Stop wasting time. You know, this person's waiting in the wings to come forward when you adjust your perception of what is and what this should be. As they're saying, your limiting beliefs is what's keeping this stuck. It's keeping you stuck in this cycle of separation. Just allow it to move forward at the pace it's meant to. Stop trying to premeditate how it should be and rejecting it when it doesn't present in the way that you think it should be. You're being asked to step into acceptance and to just allow it to flow, to unfold at its own pace. Right, so let's get some charms and cards for you as well. What's the guidance for you from Spirit? Okay, so we have got this little map here. We have got I need my space, a little coffee cup. We've got slightly bitter, a lemon. There's an aeroplane on that map as well in case any of you ask for that as a sign. We've got the loner club. We have a piece of amethyst and we have a record player. So you may have asked for music or a song. Let's get some of these oracle cards as well. Okay, so we've got why, the tribe, co-create, and observer. And if you're looking for signs here, we've got angel wings, we've got giraffes, we've got parrots, we've got owls, cheetahs again, and the moon and the fox. So I feel like this is reminding you where you're going. Reminding you it's a journey of the heart. You see how the aeroplane's due to move through that green space? It's coming out of this beigey kind of murky energy into the clarity of your heart. X marks the spot. You've got to trust you're moving in the right direction, but don't keep yourself stuck here. It's time to take off and move forward. You need space. You need space right now. It's like this card said. You know, you've got to start taking care of yourself. And this means saying no. I'm hearing that you get tangled up in all kinds of activities and meetings and so-called obligations that you tell yourself you don't have enough time to give yourself the space to grow. But you have the power to take that time and space back. And that's what you're being called to do. Again, loner club. And this is a sweater. I don't know that any of you would have asked for a sweater as a sign, but you never know. You need to be on your own right now. You need enough time to focus on this shadow so that you can start releasing these barriers and inviting this person or leaving the door open for them to come back to you. And amethyst, this is really powerful because amethyst was the crystal for your deck that you chose, the pile you chose. Amethyst, I'm hearing dream state. You need to pay attention to your dream state. Maybe keep some amethyst under your pillow or carry it with you when you sleep. Amethyst connects to our deepest layers of knowing and intuition. And I feel like, you know, when it's saying expect powerful change and adjustments are required, I'm really drawn to the purple nature of these energies as well, and that the change you're looking for is you're going to find it within when you actually tap into your own innate knowing and wisdom. Slightly bitter. Yeah, this came up here. This is what you need to focus on the most. Your anger has shut down your heart space. This bitterness you feel has made it really hard to open your heart to this person, and that doesn't serve you. It inhibits you from growing forward. The record player has come up here. And I feel like music, this is where you're going to find signs. This is where you're going to find synchronicities. And this is where you're going to connect with a deeper layer of understanding for your person. I feel like their higher self is communicating with you through song and music. There could be a musical connection between you that you've asked for a sign relating to today. Regardless, switch on the radio. Okay, allow the music that comes forward to be spontaneous. Give spirit the freedom to deliver the music that's required rather than listening to the same songs over and over again that, you know, help relate you to this journey. I feel like you need to be more receptive to the messages that are coming through music because, you know, this is what's going to guide you. Please let me know in the comments if this relates to you. I feel so strongly there's a musical connection for many of you here. All right, I just want to get one more card of guidance for you. One more message from Spirit. Let's see what they're saying. Ground and protect. Oh my goodness, did that not come up at the very beginning? This is so important for you, part 2. This meditation and this grounding and protecting is what's going to help restore and create and, you know, ensure the longevity of your own sovereignty. To be sovereign means to be in full possession of your soul. You know, when you're not sovereign, when you're not grounding and protecting, you're vulnerable to external vibrations and forces that don't serve you. Through the act of meditation and grounding and protecting, you're taking care of yourself and you're also going within to connect to that infinite wisdom. I feel really strongly that this giraffe energy, this tribe energy that's coming through for you is so, so powerful and important. You're being asked to reach out into your community. You know, there's parrots here, which for me are about communication. So you need to communicate with other people that are on this journey. You need to find your tribe. You need to stop asking yourself, why is this happening to me? And recognize that you co-create the way forward. You know, you need to trust that you can give birth to the wisdom that you need to drive you forward. Observe your intuition. Be strategic in observing your intuition. You know, this is about looking at your own light, at your own soul's wisdom and history. Soul's history is coming through very strongly for you. But above all else, please start grounding and protecting. You may need to be cleared as well. You can find a free grounding and protection meditation on my channel. It was posted fairly recently. And if you do need a spiritual clearing, you can find information about that on my website. Either way, this has come up twice for you. It's super duper important. Take care of yourself, okay? And let those barriers down, for goodness sake. Let this person in. They want to come in. They're ready to collaborate with you. You're going to evolve together. Remember, you've got to get behind the wheel of the car. You've got to put all this healing and learning and theory to the test so that you can really start growing into these new energies. It's about integrating them now, you know, integrating them through practical, experiential involvement with your person. So I'm sending you lots of love, part 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for hitting the like button and for subscribing to my channel. Do comment down below if this resonates. I love to hear from you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, part 3. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen Dame Darcy's Mermaid Tarot with Larimar. And we are asking today, what does Spirit need you to know? And I want you to ask for signs. I want you to take a moment really thinking about and, you know, tuning into Spirit and asking them for what signs you want. These can be animals, people, places, names, objects, anything you want, a song, you know, anything that can be demonstrated visually or through my words. And all this is doing, when Spirit gives you these signs, it's helping you anchor this message in faith. It's helping you trust in the magic, okay? So just take a moment while I'm shuffling to ask for those signs. It can be anything at all. And let's see how this goes. Right, so the Mermaid Tarot. What does Spirit need you to know? What does it want you to know about your relationship, your love life, your connection to your person right now? What are you not seeing about this connection? What are you not seeing about yourself? What obstacles aren't you seeing? How can you move forward for your highest good? So let's go. We have got the King of Swords in reverse, the King of Pentacles upright, the Knight of Wands, Strength. We've got the Two of Cups. We've got the Six of Wands. We've got the Knight of Pentacles. And we've got the Nine of Wands. So I'm going to draw some oracle cards as well. We're going to start with the Moonology Oracle. So we have got work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. We've got a fiery climax approaches, new moon in Aries. We have got a time to give rather than take, new moon in Virgo. And you're very close to achieving your goals, gibbous moon. And from the divine feminine, divine masculine reunited deck, we have got miscommunication, openness, Aries, god of battle, and abandonment. Okay, so lots of mixed energies here, lots of fire, lots of earth, lots of water. Not as much air. Okay, let's get some more cards. So this is just a deck of blanks that I've written on myself. Messages from Spirit. Every experience offers a gift. Learn, grow, pay attention. Wow, look, every experience you ever had has led up to this moment. Release regret. There is going to be a seismic shift. Are you ready? That says that there, a fiery climax approaches. Being angry with someone is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to drop down dead. Stop running. We've had runners in all piles today. That's so interesting. I do feel like there's a really powerful shift in the collective that is creating this kind of running energy in our divine feminines. It's just rough energies because we're so triggered. Okay. Miscommunication. This stands out a lot for me because the first card out for you is the King of Swords in reverse. Now, when the King of Swords comes up in reverse, there is not enough clarity in communication. It's distorted, it's cold, it's sharp, and it's painful. So anger is referenced here as well. It's come through in every part today. It's actually been a theme in a lot of my readings this week. I just feel like the energies right now are so intense. We're being guided to work through our fears. And of course, we've just had a new moon. And indeed here, you've got two new moons, new moon in Scorpio, new moon in Virgo. And that's energy building. And of course, when it reaches its full cycle, that's that climax approaching and everything kind of coming to fruition. So what's really interesting about your energies is that I do feel, even though there's kind of some running energy here, that you are actually interacting with your person. There's definitely miscommunication, there's anger, and there's this push-pull energy of runner-chaser. But I don't think there's been a full-blown separation. This feels like you guys being triggered, spending a few days apart, coming back together. You are trying to work through it and resolve it. We've got this Two of Cups energy here, which tells me you're at the beginning of union energies, but you are being very triggered by this. And I just want to point out the signs that have come up for you. We've got many flowers coming up here. There's a sailor, shells, seahorses. You've got a horse, an island with palm trees, lions. You've got the scorpion and the ram. Two horses have come up for you as well. We will pull more oracle cards, so don't worry if your sign hasn't appeared yet. We've got charms to come yet too. So I feel like you and your person are very up and down right now. It feels like there's so much miscommunication and so many crossed wires. You're just not hearing each other. But there is an energy of stability here. There's an energy of faith now anchored in the Earth's grid. I feel like you are, even though these energies are challenging and that you're being triggered and that there may be lots of arguments and miscommunication, that both of you are actually committed now to seeing this through. And I feel like the reason you can keep coming apart and coming together is because both of you have faith in victory. Both of you know that the other's still going to be there. This fear of abandonment is what's causing the wounds. And it's really interesting because deep down, you know this is going to work out. The abandonment fear that's coming up doesn't belong to this connection. It belongs to your past. And it for sure, look at this energy here. This is a child, okay? And we see a paternal figure that's walking away. Now, you may have experienced parental separation or conflict. Perhaps a parent left. But this is an inner child wound that's being triggered. It's nothing to do with you two, because deep down you both know that this connection is real and true, and you both want it, and you're both committed to sticking with it, and you have faith in the victory and faith in union and that forward momentum. But there is this energy of abandonment that's triggering you, and neither of you is kind of seeing the truth of that in one another. And I feel like you're both being triggered. And again, we've got Ari's God of Battle. You're just at war with each other, this miscommunication that one person's saying 9 and the other's saying 6. Now, what's really interesting about this is 9 is self-focused, 6 is love-focused. So it does suggest to me that your person, they are ultra independent, okay? They're not used to having to consider the needs of others. They're not used to thinking about others. And you may be receiving it as this energy of, not being thoughtful. Look at that. You've laid it down. I've put my cards on the table. I want love. But this person's thinking of themselves. They're not ready to completely commit. Even though they know they want you, right now they're struggling to actually meet you halfway, because this person doesn't know how to show up for someone. They've never had to, is what I'm hearing. They've had relationships with people that are also intimacy avoidant like them. They very much avoid codependence in their connections. And I feel like this person's had to be on their own for a really long time. And so getting used to considering someone else's needs, considering, someone else at all, is a real challenge for them. And I'm hearing that you perceive them as being very selfish, uncaring, when in truth, they're just trying to learn how to be part of a couple. They're trying to learn how to interact in a healthy way and how to meet your needs whilst not compromising their own. There's a lot of action-oriented energy here with these two knights. The Knight of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. What's really interesting about is the contrast between these two, because the Knight of Wands is fast, furious, impulsive energy. It's really enthusiastic, inspired action. But the Knight of Pentacles is very slow-moving energy. Now, what's also interesting about this is that even though this is fire energy and this is earth energy, is that both cards present water. In this one, we see the Knight, on the beach with all of that water and that island behind him. And on this other one, we see the Knight of Pentacles, despite being so earthy, under the water riding this seahorse. So it feels like such a... As I said, a push-pull energy. 1 minute you're raring to go and rushing towards each other, and the next minute you're pausing, taking no action and thinking, oh God, I need to figure this out. How do I move forward? Now, even though it may seem like a contradiction, what's really complementary about these two energies is they're both feeding in to your emotional body. With all of this water represented here, they're both feeding into and informing your emotional self. So you just need to trust your inner compass right now. And I feel like you're pretty good at doing that, but you're just being reminded that even though it feels like you're on a roller coaster, it's up and down. 1 minute you want to rush at them, the next minute you want to hold back, just to kind of roll with it and to trust that you are moving in the right direction. You may feel very charged and inclined to keep looking at the past, and that's because you're meant to. There is a lot of clarity, understanding and resolution available to you when you recognize that a lot of the issues that are arising are connected to your individual past and not the past you share together, okay? Whereas the other emotional stuff is in the present. It's in the here and now. That's the stuff you need to be more careful about, okay? This is the stuff you need to take your time with, and you need to discern the difference between the two. Is this trigger, is this miscommunication born of something that's occurring now, or is it connected to our past, our abandonment wounds? And there's a need to be really open with each other and to have these conversations. I feel like you two are at loggerheads, and as I said, you just can't quite open up in the way you need to, and it's because you're not recognizing where the focus of the conversation needs to be, which is on your own pain that is born of the past and the inner child stuff, and to recognize you're each triggering that in yourselves. You have got the strength to move forward with this. You're being asked to endure. Spirit's reminding you that you've spent a long time cultivating this big, compassionate heart and this bravery. I'm hearing just bravery and courage to have risen above all of the challenges and obstacles that have already presented. They're reminding you that you can keep going, that you've already beaten much greater challenges than what you're facing now, and that actually you're really now moving towards a resolution. Work through your fears together. You know, this is a time as well. This is interesting, a time to give rather than to take. And again, with the Knight of Pentacles, we show him proffering that pentacle. This could be an apology, but certainly you're being asked to give rather than take, to recognize that this person isn't as comfortable giving as you, and that maybe you just need to lead by example, because it feels like when they don't give you what you think you deserve, you're then withdrawing your love, you're holding it back. Well, if you're not going to give me that, I'm not going to give it to you. They're asking you to let your love flow, to stop running, to just leave your heart open, allow it to be open and receptive to their love, but to continue giving unconditionally anyway, because you are so close. You are so close to union. And I feel like, you know, as this full moon, and remember we've got a double full moon this month, we've got the blue moon coming at Halloween. You know, this is going to be a very powerful time for you guys. And I think you're going to see things shift quite dramatically. You're being asked to release regret and to sit in gratitude for these experiences, even though they're challenging. That big shift is coming, okay? But to release the anger, because it's poisoning you. It just doesn't serve you. You've really got to learn to let that go. Right, let's get some messages from your person's spiritual self as well. What does their higher self want to draw to your attention? What's their higher self saying? So we've got, you're all I ever wanted love to be, and it scares me to death. And they are scared. Remember, they're working through these fears. And remember, Scorpio is really secretive energy. This new moon in Scorpio, these are new fears that are surfacing. As you two get more close and more intimate, this person hasn't had a real relationship. They don't know how to have one. And now those fears are being brought up. Everything is going to be okay. Whatever happens, I will always love you. I don't understand why you love me so much. It makes me think that you must be crazy. I am under no obligation to make sense to you, and I just don't know what to say to you. So again, this person's very self-focused. They haven't got the words, you know, they're not as good at expressing themselves and articulating themselves at you. And it feels like you're trying to get blood out of a stone. Hold on, one of these cards has dropped, and I feel I need to get this for you as well. I turn everything into an argument because I don't know how to communicate. So again, we saw this very clearly with this King of Swords in reverse. You know, this person struggles to communicate in an authentic way. They don't have experience of doing that. So you are being asked to recognize that you need to be a little bit more patient with them. And they have really serious self-worth issues. You know, this person just, They don't see themselves as worthy of a connection like this. They've put you on a pedestal. They see you as being so much more accomplished, evolved, and you know, more inspiring and beautiful than them. And so this really triggers that abandonment wound. You know, this makes them think she's going to wake up one day and she's going to realize I'm not all that. And then she's going to leave me. And this is the fear that's been revealed, I feel, by this new moon energy. But this person is reassuring you, and I really want to draw your attention that this has come up over that King of Pentacles energy, that stable, grounded, loving energy. They're reminding you that everything is going to be okay. Whatever happens, they will always love you. Now, as I said, action is required here. Communication is required here. Faith is required here. But above all else, you know, a gentle, patient heart is what is required here. Now let's get you some charms and some more oracle cards. Let's give these a good mix up. I'm going to reach into the bottom and grab a few. We have got Babe with the Power, FU, and Scrabble. I don't know if that's relevant to any of you guys. If you can read this, you are too close. The White Rabbit, a bicycle, and the yin yang symbol with the whales. And let's get some more oracle cards for you as well. So we've got Blessed, Clean It Up, Co-Create, and Go the Distance. So interesting that a lot of the oracle cards have matched in these piles today. And as I said, there's a lot of anger in all of them. So if you resonate with this, you may resonate with some aspects of the others as well. Babe with the power and blessed. I want to bring these two to you together. I want you to recognize that you are blessed. And remember, every experience offers a gift. You know, even though this is challenging for you, you need to recognize that you have got the power, that when you sit in gratitude and recognize your own divinity and the gifts being presented, and there's stars and moons here for you as well, and a banner, you know, this is when you start to really transform and create more of the good things you're sitting in gratitude for. Like attracts like. When you're sat in positive energy, you're going to draw more positive energy to you. Now, with release regret, we've got clean it up in this FU. And you've got a stag here. You've got this stag and a broom and a banner here. Clean it up. You're being asked to offer an olive branch and rise above the regret, the drama, the trauma, the anger, you know, all of these feelings, because, you know, you're more evolved and you're ready to do that. Stop being stubborn and say, oh, it's always me. I always have to be the bigger person. That's because right now you are the bigger person. This person's still learning. They're going to catch up with you. Release regret, release frustration. You know, this person struggles with the level of intimacy that this connection asks of them, that you ask of them. Remember, you want love, and they're so self-focused with this number 9 energy. You've got to recognize that it's hard for them to be close to you, and that they're coming as close as they feel is possible for them in any given moment. And that energy may ebb and flow. Some days they may be really warm and loving. Other days they may be really triggered. That abandonment wound is coming up. These fears are being revealed, and they're going to struggle with that a bit more. You're being asked to be patient. You know, this white rabbit, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. You know, you're not late. You've got to trust that you're moving at exactly the right pace. And, you know, this rabbit here, especially with the yellow, this is a big trigger for you. Okay, this is the impatience of just wanting to rush everything to be there now. Just recognize that you'll get there when you can. And, you know, this is a cycle that you have to go through. You know, you are moving forward. Trust that you're moving forward into this blessed spiritual energy. I'm really drawn to how pink this bicycle is. You're moving forward in the right direction. You're balancing your divine masculine and feminine energy. You're bringing the light and dark within each of you into balance. And do you know what about the whale? The whale has the biggest heart of all the mammals. It has the biggest heart, and it, you know, it has its own song, right? They communicate through vibration and energy. And I just feel like you're being called to recognize that you both have this big heart. One of you may be more in the dark than the other, but in coming together, you can create this perfect balance and harmony if you just allow space for it. And creation is the key. Look at this, co-create. You can create together. You've got the cheetah here, and you've got the owl. There's an egg down here. And I'm really drawn to the statues that are presented in this card here. I've never noticed them before, but you see this woman holding this shield. You know, she's quite defensive. And what I'm hearing is you just need to release this defensiveness, to release this need to be right, and to just allow both of you to collaborate and co-create the way forward together. Keep going the distance. You've got another cheetah there for you. I keep saying cheetah, but it's actually cheetah. And a flag. So trust that you can go the distance. This is going to work out for you guys, and everything is going to be just fine. You're doing great, pile 3. You are very close to achieving your goal. Keep going. So many pine trees here, or Christmas trees. So I'm sending you big love and hugs and lots of light. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do hit the like button. Check out my other videos. There's so many. And make sure you subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. I will catch you next time. Thanks again. Bye.